Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is choosing the theme based on the availability of high quality designs. Now, both themes rely on add-ons, right? Genesis uses child themes and Thesis uses skins, but in both cases, neither of them generally are used without that. Thesis can't be used without a skin. It comes with a skin automatically. Genesis can be used as it is, but most people don't. In the real world, both rely on add-ons like that. And both of them have catalogs of child themes or skins that you can choose from. Now, most people probably already know that, so if we come over here to the Studio Press under their shop for themes, if you scroll down here, you can see they have a very large variety of highly polished skin designs, right? And you can, when you buy it, you can get a license from them for all of their themes, or you can buy one for an individual child theme. But they have a very large selection of highly polished, very professional looking, graphically distinct child themes from which to choose. Okay, there's quite a collection here. Really, by contrast, Thesis does not. Thesis has 4 different skins currently available in its catalog. Now, it's working on developing more of those, but be that as it may, it really only has 4. It comes with Classic Responsive, which is very similar to the original Thesis theme. Has very strong similarity, lots of the same graphic elements. It's very simple looking and is in many respects really imagined to be a blank slate from which to work. The next one is the promo skin, and the promo skin has some other, has a different apparent style and has some additional functionality like this tabbed widget and that kind of stuff. But again, it is a very simple looking, it's a very simple looking skin with a very simple style and can be used as, again, a pretty vanilla base from which to build. Just released this week, Personified Skin. Follows Chris Pearson's style, right? This looks similar to the customization he made for his original theme, or his original one. And so it has some more graphic elements. I mean, it's clearly a flat design with very basic design elements, very simple design elements, and probably is more stylized than most of the other Thesis skins. And then there's the Social Triggers skin. And, whoops, we don't want to be on the landing page though. Okay, here we are on the Social Trigger skin that's got, an emphasis on signing up for email updates and feature box, and then again has a not so heavily stylized skin. So in terms of the comparison between very polished, lots of choices, clearly Genesis excels in that, and clearly Genesis has a much larger range of choices for a polished looking website straight out of the box. And, if you compare this to other theme designs around, this is mostly pretty safe design styles, right? There's nothing outlandish or wild, nothing that's going to look remarkably different than somebody else's. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying that it does have a fairly safe feel to it. Now, both themes have third-party skins available to them, and you can you can find those third-party skins simply by Googling, right? Genesis child themes or Thesis Skins, and you'll find sources for third-party skins that aren't inside the catalog here. And unfortunately, I mean, that's good and bad, right? It's good because it gives you additional choices of add-ons to choose from, but it's bad because the skin market and the child theme market is kind of the wild, wild west. It is because it's based on WordPress, which is open source. Just about anybody can decide that they are going to make and publish a child theme for Genesis or a skin for Thesis. And you have this possibility of getting a very poorly coded skin or coded child themes. And the reason is because first there's no sort of body double checking everything to make sure that that third-party stuff is done well, and stuff can be designed by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing or is brand new or is scraping together ideas from lots of different places. You can end up with poorly coded skins and poor security, and really there's no way for you to know, right? It's very difficult for you when you're looking at third-party sources to know whether or not those things are coded properly, whether or not they have security holes in them, whether or not you're going to get decent support. And that actually is a pretty significant problem when you're talking about third-party skins or third-party child themes. Now, the solution to that is to purchase them from trusted sources. Now, one way to find trusted sources is to, again, look here on this Genesis catalog, and you can see that they've got these third-party themes. That is, these are themes that were not developed by Genesis, not developed by StudioPress, but by a member of the StudioPress community. But because it's here, it's been vetted by them. And if you take a look at those, you can see that, let's see if we can find who it is that made this. Oh, well, I should have looked at that first before I said this, but you can actually generally find out who created these, and they often will have created others. So, for example, if you come back over here, shop for themes and look for a, let's see, business theme. Oh, that's interesting. The one I thought I was going to find is not there. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I was going to point you in the direction of a third-party skin that I thought would show up in that, called Clipcart. And Clipcart is made by Themedy Themes. And if you go to the authors of these third-party themes, if you go to their websites, you're likely to find that they have other themes. And so that's a reasonable source for identifying other third-party skins. If they have a skin that is in the Genesis repository here or in the Genesis or StudioPress theme store, then the chances are those people know what they're doing and they're going to provide you with good, secure code that's well written and doesn't contain malicious code or things like that. You can also, they've got, StudioPress has a thing where that lists their recommended developers, and often those recommended developers also have skins that are available for purchase. So that's probably one of the safest way to find third-party skins for Genesis, or third-party child themes for Genesis, if this set of child themes doesn't float your boat. Now, DIY Themes has a more limited number of third-party skins. However, it does have some very high-quality ones. Now, interestingly, if you come over to the Thesis blog, there was this blog down here where this is community roundup, Thesis Skins designers and developers, which I got a very nice mention in. But there's this list of more promising skin shops, and I customize Thesis, Thesis Love, NX Themes, and WP Thesis Skins. Well, I'm going to give you some advice about this, but in fact, I'm just going to start with that advice. You don't want to use any of these three skin authors because they are not well known for writing quality code. They're not well known for providing quality support, and I strongly recommend not using Thesis Love NXT themes or WP Thesis Skins. The only one on this list here is I Customize Thesis, Puneet Shalat. I strongly recommend him and his work. It's high quality, good code, safe, good support. The granddaddy of Thesis Skins is Themedy, and Themedy has both Genesis and Thesis products. They have good child themes for Genesis, and they have the equivalent, often the equivalent child themes or skins for Thesis. And so whether you're using Thesis or Genesis, you get stuff that looks pretty similar. One of my favorites of theirs is Clipcart. And let's see, so you have to look at e-commerce for a second. Clipcart here is a very nicely created theme for WooCommerce, and I highly recommend that. The guys who created this stuff write very good code. They have very good support. You don't have to worry about these folks at all. And so this is a decent source of third-party Thesis skins. There's one other source of third-party Thesis skins, and actually his skin is not out yet, but a friend of mine, Rich Barrett, who was the first person to release a skin when Thesis 2 came out. This is the link to his place, Rich Barrett, Richer Image. He's coming out with what I think is going to be a spectacularly functional skin for Thesis 2 that I think I'm waiting for him to come out with it because he's got so many great innovative ideas in it, and since I know about them, I don't want to pop any of them on my members first. I'm going to let him take all the credit for it, but he's got some great stuff coming down the pike, and I would say within a month or so you'll find that his DNA skin for Thesis 2.1 is going to be a spectacular addition to this group of available Thesis skins. Okay, so my advice. If you're going to buy a third-party skin, you want to avoid skins or child themes from ThemeForest unless they are very, very, very highly rated. ThemeForest is full of garbage. ThemeForest is full of poorly written code, of bloated, poorly written themes, and in fact, themes with malicious code in them, either for passing out spam or even for hacking. You just don't want to use something that you find there unless it has lots of reviews, lots of recommendations, and lots of people have used it and liked it. In that case, it can be a decent choice, but otherwise you should avoid them. When you are looking at a theme or a skin from ThemeForest, take a look at their support and their comments. You can learn an awful lot about how well they do with their support from the comments that are posted on the pages. So, let the buyer beware there and take a good look at it. The second thing you want to avoid doing is purchasing themes from the developing world. Now, there are places in the world where $79 is a lot of money, and those places generate a lot of child themes, a lot of plugins, a lot of junk. And they produce junk because they don't actually have competent programmers doing the work, and it's just crammed full of poor, insecure code, lots of ripped off code, and lots of spam and malicious code. And this is why I strongly advise you not to, let's see, where'd that go? Strongly advise you not to, pardon me, not to use those three sources here, Thesis Love, NXT Themes, and WP Thesis Skins. All of these come from the third world or the developing world. I've helped members try to solve problems in them. They're very poorly supported. You go to their sites, you can see them apologizing for their lousy support. You should simply avoid them, and in general avoid theme design places and theme places from the developing world. That's not to say that there aren't competent people there working, but it is to say that most of what I've seen that comes from there is of very poor quality. The example of the exception to that rule is I customize Thesis with Pt3. Highly recommend him. I recommend him all the time. He's a excellent guy. He's full of integrity, and his work is excellent. Okay, and so that's my short list for Thesis: is Themedy, Panit, Rich Barrett, and I'm sorry, I forgot, Serge Liatko. Serge Liatko is a programmer in, well, I think he's in France now, but so I guess that's probably not the developing world now that I say that. But be that as it may, Serge Liatko is an excellent programmer. He's written some spectacular plugins. He's a very compellingly useful resource in the Thesis community, and he does have an excellent skin. So so if you are looking for, that's another place that you can look, is thesistoot.com, or just look up Serge Liatko. And that's my short list of places to look for skins for Thesis.